Good evening to everyone. I'm George Herbert, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. And we do have a sort of a pattern flip coming up. Well, not sort of, but we definitely have a pattern flip coming up. So I want to come alive here with you and talk to you about what's to come, what to expect, when to expect it, how long some cooler air can stick with us here, and then what it looks like beyond that. So we'll talk a little bit about the first couple of weeks in August, and then we'll just take a little bit of a look beyond that and just kind of see what to expect over the next little bit here. So again, I'll probably give it probably a minute or so before we dive into everything. I want everyone to have a moment that wants to hop in here, to have a moment to get in here and kind of get comfortable. Make sure you're saying hello as you come in. I know it's been a while since we talked. That's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to go live tonight instead of making just a video because I wanted to talk with you guys. As you can see, I have not kept up with the bald head. We are going to shave that off here very soon. Got the queso shirt on tonight. For those of you, I know we have some big queso fans in the chat, just like me. So we'll get all this cleaned up at some point in the future. I've just not been feeling well. So you know what? The full caveman look has really taken over the last few weeks. Um, so anyway, we'll give it about 30 more seconds before we dive into everything. Yes, we expect some cooler weather ahead. I'll tell you how long we're expecting that. I'll also tell you the consequences of that cooler weather. You guys know when we have big cool downs in the summer, big warm ups in the winter, it always has a bit of a consequence with it. But the good news is we're not expecting anything too terrible this time around. The background looks kind of blank because we are in the process of cleaning everything out of here and moving into the new building, which we should start some construction on that over the next few days. But anyway, Bluegrass Acres, hello. Julie, hello. Thank you. Says feel better. Thank you. If you guys are sending any stars or anything like that, I cannot see it because I still haven't figured out the new dashboard here. I might just go back to the old way of doing things. Snickerdude on YouTube, hello. Papa T2, hello. All right. Can everyone see and hear everything okay? Just want to make sure that's still good to go. One of the biggest reasons I was about 10 minutes late tonight is because when I first opened up the new broadcast software, everything was like gone. There was nothing there. I had a new ad video for our sponsors ready to go. Was not there. Lost it completely on the computer. I have no idea where it went. Also lost all the graphics that I made. Gone. So I have no idea what happened. So that's why I'm a little bit late. I was kind of just scrambling, trying to get something together here for you guys. Because I've been trying to work on a new sponsor video for our sponsors that they would like. But for some reason, it's not here. So that part's gone. So we're just going to wing that tonight. I'm going to work on that probably tomorrow once again. Me and technology, we just don't get along. Roberta, thank you for your 200 stars. Laura, thank you for letting me know. I don't know how I can't see that. I need to figure that out. There's got to be a way to work on that. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and head over here to our main screen. No active alerts, of course, because there's no storms ongoing. That camera, by the way, before anyone asks, is out of Elizabethtown on I-65 South, looking to the south, I believe. Okay, here are the current temperatures via the Kentucky Mesonet. Now, this is, again, upper 80s, low 90s, a little bit touch cooler today, maybe a degree or two cooler today than yesterday. Main reason for that is we had a little bit more cloud coverage today than was originally kind of projected there. I also just realized the chat is right over the clock there, so we're going to turn the chat off. I don't like that. I don't know how that, dude. I don't know how some of this stuff happens. When I don't touch the computer, things change. I don't know. I feel like we have a ghost or something in here. But anyway, your highs for today, by the way, were about the low to mid 90s. So again, nothing too crazy. Again, you folks up there in Eastern Kentucky, you're like, what is the hot air everyone's talking about? We'll just take a look out there in Western and Central Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky has been about 5 to 6 degrees colder than everyone else over this heat span that we've been talking about here. Dew points today were still disgusting. Even right now, as of 7:15 Eastern time at night. By the way, I will talk about the forecast. I'm going to show you all the model data, all that good stuff. Right now, I'm just kind of going over what's happening right now. 81 degree dew point at 7:15 in Calhoun County, or Calhoun out there in McLean County. Just disgusting. I've seen so many comments over the last few days on our post about the temperatures, saying, "Oh, the temperature's not too bad outside. It's not that hot. It's summertime. What do you all expect?" Guys, this is pretty abnormal stuff. Okay, now the temperature itself is one thing. The temperature itself, 85 to 95 degrees, that's one thing. This stretch of dew points being over 75 degrees for Western Kentucky, now at 25 days and counting, is historic. When I was digging through the archives and going through the research, The closest thing that I could find to it was an 18-day stretch back in July of 2010. I've not been able to find a longer stretch of 75-degree dew point plus in Western Kentucky. More specifically, I was looking at Paducah, Kentucky, where we're at 25 days and counting now. I have not been able to find a stretch like that. So you can absolutely classify this as abnormal because the dew point is just disgustingly high. So again, the temperature is one thing. Just as the old tale goes, the temperature is one thing, it's the humidity that gets you. All right, as for your radar right now, there is one severe warning just on the far western side there going toward Missouri. Again, nothing too crazy. We're not expecting anything tonight. Really almost no activity in Kentucky at all. So again, it's not going to just suddenly spark up out of nowhere. So really no real activity expected tonight, which is kind of a first. I feel like it's just been raining for a lot of folks on and off for the better part of the last couple of weeks. So, the real story everyone wants to talk about while we're in here. Again, I'm gonna make this video pretty quickly here. Just wanted to chat with you guys more than anything, because it's just been so long. Also, I'm really glad we went live because we have so many things that we need to work on. We got some big collaborations coming up ahead with some fun folks. So I wanted to make sure our live stuff was good to go before we start rolling into those things. And I'm kind of glad I did because there are a lot of things missing. Anyway, what I want to talk about with you guys more specifically tonight is the kind of the pattern change that we're heading into. So here is the European model. This is kind of the long range model I tend to go to. The GFS has been doing better. If you guys didn't know, there are other models that you could look at. The GFS has been doing better, but it's still, the European to me is still just a better model overall for consistency. Anyway, tomorrow, as for tonight, I should say, temperatures kind of go into the mid 70s once again. Again, pretty normal for what we've been dealing with basically since July started. Again, it's basically been a month-long heat dome. We've had a couple of days here and there where it's been a touch below 90 or closer to the mid-80s, but that humidity just has not gone anywhere. As for Wednesday, it is once again just rocketing full of warm air. Again, mid-90s as your high for most folks. As for Wednesday night, again, mid-70s for your low. Same thing. Thursday, you'll see we actually have something knocking on the northern side there. But before it gets there, that warm air is going to squeeze. It's going to squeeze. So places like down here toward Murray and Hopkinsville might be able to touch 100 degrees. Not heat index, but real temperature. On Thursday afternoon, out there in southwestern and south central Kentucky, you're going to get very, very close to 100 degrees of the real temperature. But it's the knock on the door Friday morning that we're really, really looking at here. Watch these temperatures as we go into Friday. Your low for Thursday is going to be the mid-70s once again. But look at Friday. The high only gets up to about 79 to 83 degrees. Maybe a touch toward 85 in Bowling Green. But there's your cold front, folks, and you can see it for yourself. So the highs went from mid-90s to low 80s, upper 70s for your Friday. So a much needed break. Going into Saturday, and a lot of folks are asking about the weekend. Can we get some plans in this weekend that we have not been able to do because it's just been too warm? You absolutely can. Look at your low for Friday, by the way. 60s, low upper 70s. Again, very much more comfortable, much more manageable. Still going to be warm, obviously. We're not talking about some blizzardous cold front coming in the middle of July out of nowhere. But it is definitely a much cooler and much more manageable experience. As for Saturday around lunchtime, we're talking about low to mid 80s. Again, very much more manageable. I think we would all take this over the mid 90s approaching 100. Right? Again, same thing for Saturday. Sunday's where we start to warm back up a little bit if you're in southwestern and western Kentucky. Again, but highs still only get to about the mid 80s. If you're in eastern Kentucky, you're still looking at lower 80s for Sunday. So there's a solid 3-day stretch there, 72 hours of mid 80s being your highs. As we go into Monday, that's when things begin to tick back up a little bit for western Kentucky. The reason this is a little bit lower is because I think it's expecting some sort of storm system. I'll have to double check myself. But look at your high for Monday. 79 Elizabethtown. Now, these are not going to be 100% accurate. They're going to change a little bit between now and the next 5 days, right? So we know it's not going to be 100% accurate. But it's going to be somewhere close to here. Elizabethtown, 79. Lexington, 81. Somerset, 78. Paducah, even with it warming up a little bit, 87, 88 out there. Still much more manageable than what you have been seeing, right? Tuesday. By the way, check out the low for Monday night, low 70s. As for Tuesday, again, not getting too terribly high. Again, the high being 79, 76, 78, 77. The eastern half of the state is going to be cooler than the western half of the state. It's always like that. Again, higher elevations out toward the east, also more of that heat dome builds into the lower elevations out in the west. That's why it's always like that. I promise you, it's not a conspiracy theory. Calm down. Some of you out there, golly, the messages I've been getting lately. But Western Kentucky, still not too bad. So we have a solid 5 days here now where we're seeing temperatures below the mid 80s. As for your low on Tuesday, you're looking at about the low 70s. And then Wednesday is where we start to get back up a little bit more here. Now we're starting to approach the mid to upper 80s, low 90s for you folks out there in Western Kentucky by Wednesday. Thursday definitely is getting warmer, but still not as bad as what we've seen. Guys, you got to remember, I mean, it's still just not as bad. As for Friday, again, now we start to warm back up into the 90s, so on and so forth. But then maybe by the 13th or 14th here, another little cool down may be coming through. So we might be starting to turn a corner. But I just want to be able to tell you guys, once again, you live in Kentucky. So you're going to get this fall sense of fall at some point, and then it's going to ramp right back up into the 90s, maybe even 100. So this happens every year, but it is still a much needed break. I want to show you the dew points now. So this is the reason, even though the temperature was a little bit cooler today than it was yesterday, this is the reason it still just feels absolutely disgusting outside. If you guys don't know, dew point is the measure of basically the measure of the amount of moisture that's in the air that you can kind of feel a little bit, just to put it very, very simply for you. Okay. Dew points, just as a general rule of thumb, if you did not know, dew points 60 degrees and below are generally pretty comfortable. 50 degrees and below are very comfortable. Okay. Once you start getting above 60, that's when it starts to become uncomfortable. Above 65 is where it starts to become a little bit more miserable. Above 70 is very miserable. Above 75 is downright horrendous. Above 80 is just, you don't even want to look outside or you're going to start sweating, right? So we've been in the 75 to 80 range for a while now. Very, 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 very just moist and muggy outside. So again, here's Tuesday, which is today. Here's tomorrow, starting to break up a little bit. Here's Thursday, starting to get down a little bit. And watch that cold front. Just watch it from the north here. Just watch. Oh, it's just beautiful. Just get smacked out of here. And look at that. We even go as far as the low 50s for dew point. I'm telling you guys, this weekend, if you have missed out on anything over the last few weeks when it comes to events or getting your artwork done or anything outside done, this weekend is when you want to catch up on everything and do everything that you possibly can. It's going to be downright gorgeous out there. Downright gorgeous this weekend in Kentucky. Low 50s for dew points, that's fall type of stuff. We love that. And then again, that's Saturday, that's Friday and Saturday. Here is Sunday. Once again, maybe ticking up a little bit eastern and southern Kentucky. And again, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it's going to be close. Here's Sunday where we get the dew points begin to come back in a little bit because we have some of those rains coming through. I'll show you those in just a second as well. And then the dew points just continue to start trending back up throughout next week. So, but still, I still want to point out this is not as miserable as, dude, I'm telling you guys, 5 to 7 degrees on the difference on the dew point is very, very, very much a drastic change. Again, here is, even when we start to warm back up late next week, right? Dew points in the upper 60s, maybe low 70s. Here's the dew point today, right now, 80 out western Kentucky. Again, very, very big difference even when we do warm back up. So we do have a nice little 4 to 7 day stretch here of some much more manageable and comfortable weather, especially this weekend where it's going to be absolutely gorgeous outside. There is one problem though. This does come with some rainfall. Okay, so just take you through here. Here's tomorrow's forecast. Not a whole lot expected. You can see it basically stays dry. Here's Thursday morning when that low pressure starts to come through. Again, with the cold front triggering into a moist environment, you're always going to get rain. You're always going to get rain. Okay, it's the same thing in the winter when we start to warm up after being cold for a while. You're always going to get rain or storm risk. The good news is I don't see very much risk for severe weather. I know that's going to be the number one question when I look over there. Okay, but I don't see much of a risk for severe weather. The better wind shear and ingredients is going to be out to our west where they're going to have a trough developing. All right. Now on Thursday, it's still not a whole lot there. Very spotty on things. Not too crazy on the rainfall. I do expect maybe a little bit more rainfall than what this is showing. Right now, this is showing kind of isolated showers. Nothing too crazy out there. Friday, more showers out there in eastern Kentucky, mainly throughout the early afternoon. Saturday, just gorgeous. Saturday's going to be the day. I'm telling you guys. Oh, that camera froze. What I saw. Let me refresh that camera for you guys. Refresh. the camera on the interstate anyway. Maybe it won't refresh. Who knows? Oh, there it goes. But I mean, Saturday, guys, is going to be downright gorgeous out there. I'm telling you, everywhere. Saturday, Sunday, again, not a whole lot going on. Monday, here's some of remember the increasing dew points. Now we're starting to get back in a little bit more of the spotty rain. Again, I will say, this model is a little bit drier than I anticipate. I think there will be a little bit more rainfall than what this is showing, just because again we know that when that cold front smacks into the warm air, it's going to create some rainfall. I mean, it just is. But I will tell you that looking into August, September, October, it does look a little bit drier than usual. Um, Again, that could change, but that's just kind of what we're looking at right now. It does tend to be a little bit more drier than usual on some of the data that we're seeing, but overall, just again a much more manageable and comfortable pattern. Definitely lies ahead. I want to give you a couple quick messages from our sponsors real quickly. Um, and then I'll get to some of your questions. Sorry, my brain kind of lagged out there. Right Implement has over 15 locations throughout Kentucky, and if you do anything outdoors from farming to hunting to anything else, guys, I cannot recommend to you. I just realized the FBI building's name does not show. I got to put a white box there or something around their name. I just realized that you literally cannot see the FBI building's logo. But anyway, anyway, Right Implement, man, they've been with us for 2 years now and counting. They are our longest standing sponsor. And so I hope you guys consider supporting them. Again, they have over 15 locations throughout Kentucky and anything from outdoor apparel to outdoor equipment. And again, family owned business that started right here in Kentucky and that has stayed right here in Kentucky and just grown. Again, just a business that you want to support. They also have so many deals going on that they send me all the time that I don't have enough space to post for you. All I can recommend to you is to go follow their page on Facebook. They have so many deals going on that you can take advantage of. As far as FBI buildings, they're a little bit newer to Kentucky, but they're not new to creating and repairing pole barns, barns in general, garages, any building you can really think of, residential and commercial. They have a full team of engineers, artists, design, so on and so forth. You can actually get a free estimate for anything that you might want to get an idea on if you go to fbibuildings.com. Hyper roofing, if you're in or around Hardin County, Kentucky, Hyper Roofing is the choice for you. They're the folks that gave us that generator a while back to help us get through some of the severe weather coverage for you when we kept losing power. Just genuinely good people that are running a genuinely good company. No bad reviews. Again, they're triple B certified, the Better Business Bureau. They are actually only one of the only roofing companies in Kentucky to have a special. I have to get this correctly from them, but they have a special wind warranty where they have the company that they use. If there's wind damage to some of the shingles, they will come out and replace it for free. The actual company, I think it's called Graph or something like that. I have to get the exact information from them, but we use them, we trust them. We actually had them come out and check our roof after some of the hailstorms that we had before, and they didn't try to scam us. They said, hey, your roof is fine. They showed us pictures and everything, and so to me, that's someone that you could trust, because there are some of those companies out there that you just can't trust, and they didn't try to scam us. They didn't try to work us over. And to me, that's really big in that industry. So Hyper Roofing, if you're in or around Hardin County, definitely the choice to go with. Finally, Plato's Closet and Once Upon a Child in Elizabethtown, side by side next door to each other. Definitely a good place to shop or sell any gently used clothing. Brianna, no shame in it. Brianna, Samuel, and I go there all the time. All the time. So hopefully we'll see you there. Again, school's coming back up. Make sure you get some clothes for the kiddos, shoes there, some toys there, as well as other things. Again, if you need some cash back on some clothes that you have extra laying around that you want to get rid of, take it up there. Go sell it. Get you some cash back, guys. That's what we do all the time. And then we go and turn around and use it to buy new things, buy new clothes from them. So again, Once Upon a Child in Plato's Closet in Elizabethtown, run by a really good family. Just one of those companies that you want to support. So thank you to all of our sponsors. I'll get to some of your questions now. I definitely had a much quicker sponsor video ready that we could just roll out and be nice and even and smooth, and then it just did not load in. So that's just phenomenal. We love when that happens. So Caitlin asked, dew points can cause you to have headaches? I don't know about that one. I know pressure can. But dew points, I mean, I would assume that it can, because again, when you're talking about stepping outside, those dew points being that high makes you sweat a lot, get you dehydrated, and dehydration is one of the biggest things that leads to headaches. So I would assume so. Hey George, what was your thoughts about the screenshot that I sent about? Did I see that one? I don't know if I saw that one. Excuse me. Did you send it on Facebook? Okay. Sent it on Facebook. Is it in our messenger or comments? I'll have to look for that here in a little bit. But I mean, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Honestly, it's just a much more manageable and comfortable pattern definitely lies ahead. So if you missed any information on that, of course, this video will be posted on our Facebook and YouTube. You can go back and watch this video anytime that you may like. And of course, we'll definitely be able to post updates for you all. Snickerdoodle says, I'm just ready for fall. Me too. I can't stand this. The people that like this kind of weather, there is something wrong with you. There is something wrong with you. If you like going outside and immediately sweating, I am convinced there's something wrong with you because that just does not make any sense to me. Georgie, come with the headlines I'm looking to see. Yeah, I've been waiting for this time to come around. We all knew the heat dome would end eventually, but this has been a historic humidity stretch anyway. In Kentucky, when you're talking about dew points, it's been historic. Maybe not so far as temperatures. We've obviously seen higher temperatures, and we've seen shorter stretches of higher dew points. But when you're talking about this long of 75 plus on the dew point scale, it's been historic. It's been a historic stretch here, and our electric bill is definitely reflecting that. I'm sure your all's is as well. It's been terrible. So I'm definitely welcoming the, even if it's brief, the break that we're going to see. Basically between Friday and Tuesday. Anyway, I'm George Herbert, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Thank you so much for tuning into our broadcast. Hope you enjoy the cool down too. And until next time, stay safe, folks.